I went to Hawaii for a couple of weeks, and of course, the first thing I thought about was, oh my gosh, which camera should I bring with me? And so I managed to whittle it down to only 4 cameras. Only 4 cameras. I know I did a good job. And so with that, I learned a couple of things having those 4 cameras with me. So it ended up being that there was one camera that I brought with me every single day. And then there's one camera that I only brought up for one day, and then it just kind of sat at the Airbnb the rest of the time. And then another camera that I fell in love with all over again. Let's talk about it. And so the 4 cameras that I settled on were the Hasselblad 500cm, which is a medium format right here, the Leica M6, of course, and then the Pentax 17, which is a half frame. And then, of course, like I said in one of my videos, must always bring a digital camera with you because you never know. And so I brought my Leica Q2. And I actually kind of regretted bringing 4 cameras in the beginning because every morning when I woke up, I had to decide, okay, which of these 4 cameras am I gonna bring with me? Because I'm not gonna bring all 4. Like, come on, that's just crazy. On the days where I knew it was gonna be fast paced, we're going to be doing a lot of walking or hiking, I brought along with me the Leica M6 and the Pentax 17. Because with the Leica M6, I don't have to worry too much about composing. Obviously, it's lighter than the Hasselblad, and it's just quicker to shoot with the M6. And then, of course, the Pentax 17, because that one's more of like capturing the moments rather than, trying to get your portfolio shots. And so that was kind of like the sidekick. And I used both of them and I interchanged between the two of them. And so here are the photos with the Pentax 17 and the Leica M6. And then on the days when I knew it was going to be a slower pace, we weren't going to walk that far, it was just going to be from the car to whatever the destination was, then I was able to carry something a little bit heavier. And that's when I brought the Hasselblad 500cm with me, because not only do I bring the Hasselblad with me, I also have a second back that comes along with it. And then of course, all the film, like there's a whole bunch of other stuff that your load gets pretty heavy. And so those days when I knew we weren't going to be walking a lot, I brought the Hasselblad with me and the Pentax 17 as a sidekick to capture, all the other like more casual moments. And there was a day when I really could only bring one camera with me, and it really had to be quick, and there's just like no time for composing, and I had to just basically like fire away. It was when I brought the Leica Q2 because it's a digital camera. I could just like be casual about taking the shots and didn't really have to stress too much. I could take 3, 4, 5, 10 photos standing there if I really wanted to, which is what's amazing about digital photography. And so those were the days when I brought out the Q2. So you're probably already starting to put a picture together. Which camera did I bring with me all the time? It was the Pentax 17. You probably heard me say, and I brought the Pentax 17. It's just because one, it's very light. It doesn't add any weight to whatever it is that you're carrying. And then 2, it's half frame. So I always felt like, I could just be more casual with it because you get double the frames. So actually at the end of the day, when we came home and just kind of dropped everything off, refreshed, and got ready for the night out, I left all my cameras and I still brought the Pentax 17 with me. So what does that tell you? It's a great everyday, everything camera. And just like I said in my video when I talked about it, and here's the video when I talked about the Pentax 17, I said this is a great everyday carry, and it has proven to truly be my everyday carry. So now for the camera that I only brought out for one day, it was the Leica Q2. And not because I have anything against digital. I mean, like I said, there's like advantages to digital cameras. I think it was just because the Q2 is a 28 millimeter, so it's a wider lens. And I think for the type of photography that I was doing in Hawaii, I didn't really like the look of, or I didn't need such a wide lens. And so that ended up staying home. And then for the camera that I fell in love with all over again, it is the Hasselblad 500 cm, which is right here. So this poor baby has been sitting on my shelf, abandoned, because I've been getting these new cameras. But I did bring it with me because I know I just love the look of medium format. And the first day that I took it out and I took that first photo and I looked into the viewfinder, I was like, oh, I love shooting with this camera. The viewfinder is just so big, and what's great about it is that you can already see the photo. Whatever it is that you're composing is exactly what the photo turns out to be. And that's what's great for me. It's just so satisfying that I can see the photo already just by looking into the viewfinder. And then I just get so lost when you're kind of like tunneling into the viewfinder and you're looking, and I don't know, just the whole experience of taking a photograph is just, I don't know, it's just a lot more, I don't know, it just feels a lot more richer. Gosh, I have like my vocabulary, I have lack of words to describe it. And then afterwards, when you click the shutter, that clunk is just so satisfying. It's like it's announcing, I just took a damn good photo. And then you're rewarded with being able to crank the knob and get ready for the next shot. And just all of those actions and mechanics and the sounds that you hear, it's just the full experience of photography. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. And so I really enjoyed shooting with this. Of course, I brought it out only on the days when I had time to compose. But like, if you really want to experience photography and film photography for that whole experience, I 100% suggest getting a camera like this. And then of course, the photos that comes out of it, oh my gosh, I just absolutely fell in love. And I think I'm gonna be using this camera a lot more often again. So let me show you some of the photos that I really, really loved from this trip using this camera. So after going on this trip, I learned a couple of things. The first one is don't be afraid to bring 4 cameras with you, because I felt a little bit ridiculous. This is probably the most cameras I've ever brought with me. But honestly, I didn't regret it one bit. Because if you think about cameras, they're just tools. And on some days you'll need one tool, and on other days you'll need a different tool. And so if you really want to do your job right, you should bring all the tools that you need, right? So next time you're feeling weird about bringing a ton of cameras, I say go for it. Just go all out. You're not going to regret bringing those cameras. In fact, you will regret if you leave one behind that you were thinking of bringing with you. So if someone gives you a hard time, tell them I told you you could. And the second thing I learned was to not be afraid to bring out the big guns, because like I said earlier, it's about having the right tools to do your job right. And for me, the big guns, even though it is a pain in the butt to bring along, it's just so chunky and just so hard to carry in my backpack on my carry-on. But it's absolutely worth it. I have never ever regretted bringing the Hasselblad with me, and some of my favorite photos have been taken with the Hasselblad. So next time you travel, bring those 4 cameras with you. It'll be absolutely fine. It'll be totally fine. You're not going to regret it whatsoever.